The word crisis is easy to define. A time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger is the definition that pops up from the Oxford Language Dictionary when you do a simple Google search. It is a term that seems to fit perfectly with what's going on right now at our southern border. So why does the Biden administration go to great lengths to avoid using that word? They keep coming up with euphemisms to deny the obvious.
We feel that it is our responsibility to humanely approach this circumstance.
Circumstance, that's the new one. Up until now, they've avoided calling it a crisis by saying it's a challenge.
Do you believe that right now there's a crisis at the border?
I think that the answer is no. I think there is a challenge at the border that we are managing.
So wait, if it is gone from a challenge to now a circumstance, then things at the border must be improving, right? You see, in etymology, crisis means potential danger. Challenge means a test of one's ability. And circumstance is just a condition. Ooh, wait, condition. That's another innocuous euphemism that the Biden administration could try, because they seem to like using words that start with the letter C. If this all sounds like it's getting silly, that's because it is. There's this strange linguistic religion being practiced at the White House with a deep abiding faith that if you just don't say a word, then it isn't true. But it's not working. The New York Times, the Washington Post, MSNBC, all media friendly to the Biden administration, are calling what's happening at the southern border a crisis. You see, it's not partisanship, it's not spin, it's just the truth. And the president and the vice president need to start taking the situation at the border a little more seriously.
Do you have plans to visit the border?
Not today.
Well, that was weird. There's nothing funny about what's going on at the border. Henry Cuellar is a Democratic congressman from Laredo, Texas. His parents were migrant workers who spoke no English. Congressman Cuellar embodies the American dream, and he is outraged over what is happening at the border. The congressman took these photographs at the U.S. Customs and Border Protection facility in Donna, Texas, where they're keeping unaccompanied minors who make it across the border. They show cramped, overcrowded conditions and the very same chain-linked fences that the Trump administration used when it was accused of keeping kids in cages. The big difference is that the Trump administration was open and allowed the media to visit and take its own pictures. The Biden administration has not allowed that to this date and has put a gag order on the people who work there and the border agents, making it, so far, the least transparent administration in modern history. You put all this together and you come to the conclusion that the Biden administration is trying to hide a crisis of their making. And it's not working because you can't hide the numbers, and numbers don't lie. Last month, the U.S. Border Patrol apprehended over 100,000 people crossing the southern border illegally. Compare that to 36,600 apprehended in October, right before the election. What's even more concerning is that the way things are going now, that number could double for March. And even more concerning is the number of unaccompanied minors being held and processed at U.S. facilities. There is a sharp rise in the number of children crossing the border by themselves, up over 100% this month from January. Right now, we're averaging well over 500 children crossing the border every single day, which is incredibly dangerous for them and overwhelms our immigration system. The crisis at the border was created by a feckless policy that just amounted to, let's get rid of everything that Donald Trump did, even though many of the things his administration did worked. It was created by a candidate so desperate to be president that he promised those south of the border that if they made it to America, they could become U.S. citizens. And if you don't believe me, just ask them for yourselves.
And why did you come now?
No se había podido hacer.
Before, I couldn't come, he says, but the new president gave us an opportunity.
So as much as President Biden says don't come, at least when prompted,
do you have to say quite clearly, don't come?
Yes, I can say quite clearly, don't come, and what we're in.
His policies say something else. If he really wants people not to come, he can start by ending the semantic charade and admit that his administration is dealing with a crisis. And then, maybe then, they will start taking what's happening at the border seriously and take action. Why do I think that's not going to happen anytime soon? I'm Larry Mendte. We'll talk again soon.